Hello and welcome to our FinovateFall 25 and 5 video interview series. My name is David Penn. I'm a research analyst with Finovate. Joining me today is Mario Hernandez. He is the founder and CEO of IMPESA. Mario, thank you very much for joining us today.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me here, David. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, it's fantastic to have you as part of our video series, and even more fantastic to have you as a part of FinovateFall coming up in just a few days. I thought maybe to start things off, you could tell us just a little bit about IMPESA for folks who are getting to know the company for the very first time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. So I founded, I'm the co-founder of IMPESA. We started back in 2014, back when we didn't even know that we were founding a fintech company. So it's been a great adventure. I've been in banking for 20 years, and moving to the fintech part of the business has been a great adventure. And I'm really excited about being in Finovate. I was in Finovate, I think it was in 2016, 17, and I've been like 3 years. So I've never done a demo, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we're happy to have you back at Finovate and very much happy to have you on the stage where folks can check out a lot of the technology that you have to offer as well. So let's go ahead and get started if you're ready with our 25 and 5.
Absolutely, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Starting from the top. What's your favorite meal of the day? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
I would say definitely breakfast. That's I love breakfasts.
Starting the day off right.
Yeah,
What's your favorite
absolutely.
season of the year?
Okay, so I live in Costa Rica, and in Costa Rica we have two seasons: rainy and non-rainy. And it's usually half of the year that rains a lot. So I like the times when it doesn't rain, but I also live in Canada and in Boston in the US. So in terms of the four seasons that you have up there, I would say fall is my favorite season.
I can imagine fall in Boston is pretty awesome.
Yes, it's beautiful. I lived in Toronto as well, and it's amazing over there.
I
Yes.
believe it. Let's see. What's your favorite sport or recreational activity, either to watch or to participate in?
I trained karate since I was 6 years old, and I'm a second Dan black belt in Kyokushin karate. I love it.
Oh,
That's what I just love training karate. And you know what? During that pandemic, I learned to play guitar. So that was my purpose during the pandemic. My kids are musicians, so I learned to play guitar, and I love it. I really enjoy it.
wow, those are fantastic pair.
Yes.
What's your favorite vacation spot or getaway?
I would say Vail. We try to go every winter to ski, and it's just amazing place. And I'd say Vail, Colorado.
Oh, okay. Let's see. It's time to relax. Are you more likely to read a book or to listen to music?
Definitely listen to music.
Definitely listen
Yeah,
to music. Okay.
I like reading, but if I have a free time, I would prefer to listen to music.
I hear you. Let's see. Do you own a smartwatch?
So I'm in technology, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't have a smartwatch. I love watches, and I collect watches. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have a smartwatch. I have a smartphone which I use a lot, and I've tried it, but I like to stick to the classic watches.
I hear you. Let's see. Do you use a robo-advisor for your own personal investing?
No, I don't. I invest since 1996. I bought stocks in Apple actually, and
Oof,
I do my own analysis. I'm a little bit more of an old-fashioned, so I do it myself.
that sounds good. What's your favorite mode of public transportation?
Subway.
Mm, subways.
I
Let's
love
see.
traveling in subway in New York. It's just a lot of fun. And I did a
Yeah,
lot
you
of subway in Canada when I lived in Toronto. So I would say subway.
absolutely. Subways are fun. Let's see. Do you own more in digital assets like Bitcoin or more in physical assets like gold?
So I would say my investments are pretty much tied to my company,
Mm,
and my other investments are in the stock market, and usually, especially because I don't have a lot of time to research, they're in ETFs, very conservative blue chips, big banks, companies like Apple and Google, and tech companies especially. So that's where my investments are.
okay. Without naming names, what does your current bank do right?
What do they do right? I would say onboarding, um, and they're trying to digitize lots of their the paperwork that we need to sign. And in our countries, that's a big thing because we still have to sign physically a lot of contracts. So they're moving to trying to digitize all those physical requirements into the digital world.
Okay. Let's look at the flip side. What does your current bank need to do a little bit better?
I would say that customer experience needs to improve. And we've seen that a lot of fintechs, that's their most, what they do the best. It's provide the same financial services that banks provide. Credit is credit, but it's just fintech companies make it easier for these users. So I would say that my bank would need to improve on the customer experience.
Interesting. Who is the most inspirational person to you in technology right now?
So right now, I was going to say Steve Jobs. Right now, I would say all-time Steve Jobs, definitely. And right now, Jeff Bezos, probably everything that he's doing is just amazing to me. So yeah, those two.
Great picks. Great picks. What's the best city for technology startups that no one knows about yet?
That's a very hard question, because if anything has taught us from the pandemic is that you can work from pretty much anywhere. Like here in my company, before the pandemic, we were 40 people in our company, and now there's just 3. We have developers in Europe, in South America. So I wouldn't tie the creation of a company to a specific city. And I would say you can work from anywhere.
Well said. What's your most unpopular or controversial technology opinion?
I have lots of heated discussions around Bitcoin. Not because I don't believe in Bitcoin, I definitely do, but because of whether or not it is a currency that can be used for like what countries like El Salvador are trying to do. To me, it's way too risky. I think that it's a great technology that can be used for transferring some goods, but it still needs to, in order for Bitcoin to become a good currency, it needs stability. You cannot, a bank cannot offer loans in Bitcoins because they don't know what's going to happen down the road, if they're going to lose money or if the customer is not going to be able to pay. So, the stability part of Bitcoin is very, very important. And I've had lots of discussions around that. To me, right now, it's an instrument where you can invest, but it's not a currency. So lots of people disagree with me, but yeah.
Truly. And an interesting experiment in El Salvador. We'll see how that happens, how that goes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Let's see. What would you be doing for a living if you weren't involved in IMPESA?
I would be teaching at the university. I love teaching. I've been involved in teaching since I graduated from college, and I love it. I always tell my wife and kids that one day when I retire, I'm going to university and I'll teach pro bono, or I just love teaching.
Oh, very nice. Well, let's talk a little bit more about IMPESA. What problem does your company solve, and who does it solve it for?
I would say that we solve the process of innovation for smaller banks. We have seen that the payments, especially during these past few months, are concentrated in a very few banks, and the smaller ones are left out without technology. That's where we come in. We provide innovation. We provide world-class solutions, low investment, low cost, increase of revenue, and we are a very, very good alternative for smaller banks, savings and loans, and smaller financial institutions.
Okay. Let's see. What would you say is the most unique aspect of your company's technology?
I would say that it has a lot of features packed into one app. So in just one app, you have card controls, you have split payments, you have uh, transactions controls where you can keep a budget of what you're spending. You have a social experience in one in an application. You have a referral program. So there's a lot of features that are packed into one single application, and it's very simple to integrate with a bank.
Excellent. Let's look at the human side of the equation. What would you say is the most important thing when it comes to building a strong team?
You have to surround yourself with people that are better than yourself.
Hmm.
I think that better in terms of better skills, better knowledge of technology. I have a CTO that's just amazing. This guy was a developer, and I sit down with him, and just the way he explains, it's just unbelievable. And my COO is just also an amazing guy, and the success that we've had would not be possible if it wasn't for the whole team. So you have to recognize everybody's strengths. Um, I would say also that don't do anything. You have to walk the talk and
Mm.
lead with example. To me, that's how you really build a strong team. There's a lot of businesses that, you have a lot of business proposals, and people come and tell you that, let's do this business, let's do something else, and you really have to focus on what you're doing. Make sure you know who your customers are, and don't ever do anything that you would be embarrassed if the next day will appear on the front page of the newspaper.
Mm.
So that's how you build a strong team.
Excellent. What would you say is your biggest professional takeaway from 2020, the year we just had?
There's no need for traveling. I could have traveled less. I think that's my biggest takeaway. I
Interesting.
traveled 245 days in 2019. So
Wow.
pretty much half of the year I was on a plane, on an airport, and it was just 2020 was, I wouldn't say one of our most productive years, but it was extremely productive. We
Mm.
implemented banks across many countries, and I didn't have to travel. Of course, I missed the face-to-face relationship, but also I think that you have to have a balance. 249 days traveling is way too much. And the happiest person about the pandemic is my daughter, for example, my kids, and my wife. They said, "Well, you come to lunch every day," and that was a big takeaway for me.
Oh, interesting. Where do you see M-Pesa in the next, say, 2 to 3 years?
2 to 3 years, probably. We're thinking about an IPO
Yeah.
or merger with another probably larger company.
Mhm.
I've been really doing a lot of thinking about IPO because the CEOs that I've talked about, that they go and do an IPO, they tell me that they end up working for their constituents, for their, all the shareholders,
Mhm.
and they usually don't have time to talk to their customers. And I love talking to my customers. I love sitting down and understanding what their needs are, and turning those needs into technology, and bringing new feature, products and features to the market. And so I'm not sure, but that's on the plan. That's something that we've discussed, and it's definitely something that we need to consider.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes open for that. Let's go back to a few personal questions. Are you a cat person, a dog person, neither, or both?
I love it. I love dogs. I
Yeah.
have a golden retriever and a chocolate Labrador, and we just love them. They're part of our family, and yes, I
Excellent.
love
That's a
dogs.
great look, fun pair.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you were a famous artist, Would you be more likely to be a novelist slash writer, an actor slash director, or a singer slash musician?
I definitely be a musician. Sorry, a singer. I don't know why. Um, but every time, there's a party or something and I start singing, I just have a great time. So I probably be a
Yeah.
singer.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. What's your favorite holiday of the year?
Christmas.
Mm,
It's it's funny because it's very different in the U.S. When we lived in Canada or in Boston. You have the snow and you have all the season, and people don't realize that, for example, in our country, there's no snow, and during Christmas season, it's the best time to go to the beach, and the beach is amazing, and I always look forward to Christmas. Since November, I'm like, oh God, I hope it's Christmas soon.
I hear you. And Christmas at the beach sounds like something a lot of folks would love to try
Yeah.
out. Let's see. What are you looking forward to most in your personal or your life plans in 2021?
Lots of work
Mm,
and less traveling.
uh,
So 2021, I think, is going to be a very, very good year. Lots of things have changed.
mhm,
We were able to change our business model from a B2B to B2C.
mm,
So we created great products with Visa, with PayPal, and we've been growing really, really fast. Especially, I would say that the business dropped down during probably pandemic started in March, April,
mhm.
May, and June. But as of July, it just started growing and it hasn't stopped growing. So even it is true. In every crisis, you find opportunities. I think we were able to find the opportunities, and I'm looking forward to a great end of 2021. We've brought more banks on board, and we've been able to service more customers, and we're really excited about the what's coming next in the next few months or years.
Excellent. And speaking of what's coming up next, final question. What's your favorite thing about being a part of FinovateFall coming up in just a few weeks?
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. So the last time I was in Finovate, I think it was in 2018. Uh, I think it's great that we're going to have a chance to show what we're capable of doing. We have great talent, and we have an amazing software, an amazing application that I'm really looking forward to demo in Finovate. And I think that it's also going to be interesting to bring different perspectives, because there's a lot of things that happen in the US that I'm familiar with because I lived there, and I'm really familiar with the financial system in the US. But in other markets, the reality is very different. So
Mhm.
real-time payments, and something as basic as real-time payments in other countries are very, very complicated. And transferring money, there's still a lot of cash flowing back and forth. And so I think that bringing a different perspective to the US market to Finovate will be very interesting, and will create lots of very interesting discussions, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it sounds good. We're definitely looking forward to it, and looking forward to having you as a part of Finovate Fall coming up. That's our 25 and 5. Thank you very much for participating.
Great. David, thank you so much. I had a great time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Yes, so we hope everybody checks out IMPESA coming up at Finovate Fall in New York, a return to live events, and definitely make sure you check out their demo, check out their 25 and 5 interview here, and of course, maybe even check in with them personally and do a little bit of networking and get some of those conversations going about some of the different things that are going on with innovation in Costa Rica and with IMPESA. Thanks again, Mario, and we're looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. See you soon. Take care.